everyone. We're very excited that you're all here celebrating our theater club. You're all going off to see Little Mermaid, and we love to celebrate theater at Sardi's. One of the wonderful, and you know I get to see everything, but I was so moved by A Bronx Tale, which is right here at the Walter Kerr Theater, a couple of blocks away, and Chaz Palminteri, who brings these 18 characters from his life, growing up in what was then a very tough neighborhood, the Belmont section of the Bronx, started as a one-man show when he just figured, I'm not going to be working, I'm going to work by making myself write it and doing it. And the rest of that is history, because Robert De Niro came to see it with Jane Rosenthal, his associate, and they said, you don't have to have a famous actor in it. We're going to take care of you. You're going to be our star in this show. And it became a very famous movie, and now it's on Broadway. So what I was curious about is you sit there and you write this show based on your own life and experience. So you're in L.A., which is not exactly heart of the theater.
Right.
So how'd you get people to even come see it? What did you do with it?
Well, the amazing thing was, first I needed the money to produce it, so I called my friend Peter, who owned the Limelight many years ago in New York, and I told him about it, and he just said, you know, I saw you in a play. I really think you have talent. Let me think about it. And I said, okay, and I thought he brushed me off, and then the next day I get a FedEx for $25,000 in the mail.
Unreal, right?
Which is amazing. And I called him up. I said, you didn't even read the play. You don't even know what it's about. He goes, you're a good guy. I trust you. He goes,
Can you believe that?
He goes, I saw you in a play. I think you're good. Let's see what happens. So I took the $25,000 and I did this little theater in North Hollywood, and all of a sudden, it exploded. It exploded. Joan, I can't explain it. Every producer, every writer, every director, every studio head came to see it. The reviews were unbelievable. And then we had to move to a bigger theater, which was 400 seats. And still, I was filling that theater. And they kept coming, but still, they would not make me the star.
That's right. They wanted whoever.
They wanted a big star on the role, and I just kept saying no. And then finally, people thought I was crazy, and then De Niro saw it, and that was it right after that.
And then, of course, it's come to Broadway. But what made you decide? Because certainly you're now, for years, one of the top working actors. I've seen you in a million things from early on.
You know what, Joan? Because I closed the show. It was doing so great in New York at the time, 19 years ago. But as soon as I made the movie deal and I got all that money, I wanted to start making movies. I was getting offered movies, so I wanted to start really making money. So I closed the show. That was a success, and I didn't think enough people saw it. And I said, you know what? There's a whole generation of new people that should see the show because of the message it gives to children,
That's
especially
right.
young kids.
That they can make it.
Exactly. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. My thing is that I have to tell the child that he already has the gift. The idea is not to waste it. Don't waste it. And, drugs, alcohol, doing the wrong thing. Don't waste your life. So I think it has an important message. A lot of families bring their kids here to 12, 13, 14, 15.
To see.
And they say it's better than therapy. Thank you. And I say thank you.
No, because there's one moment, too, when his father in the play says to him, do I have talent? You have talent. And as a kid, Mom, Dad said I have talent.
Right.
And what a thrill that was.
Well, it's a thrill because it's so important to have parents who really believe in you. I mean, because I always say having parents that believe in you, it's having like an extra vertebrae in your back, You're stronger, Not that you can't make it without parents who believe in you, but I think it's a little harder. And when Joan asked that question, how did you turn all that money down? When you feel confident in the love that your parents give you, you say, you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think that's what really held me together, really.
And that's the strongest message. And then, of course, even after the success of all this, you had to deal with the issue of typecasting. All of a sudden, everyone wanted you as the tough kid or the gangster or whatever.
Right. Woody Allen called right after this. Well, he didn't see it.
Woody Allen, Bullets
Over Broadway. And he said, look, I want you to play this wise guy. And I said, I don't know. I just played a wise guy. And he goes, but read the script. And I read the script, and I went, I'm playing this part. I go...
Was Woody fun to be with?
Oh, Woody was great. Woody's you hate to say that word, but he is. He's a genius. He's funny. He knows everything. He writes an incredible script, and he was so great with me. And he said, you're going to be great in the role. And he always said, used to tell people, Chaz was born to play this part. And I was fortunate enough to get nominated for Academy Awards, so that was nice.
Which is great. So you were so happy you didn't turn it down.
Thank you. No, I'm glad. No.
Did you have trepidation when you decided to bring it to Broadway after you had done it so many years before?
No, I felt I was young enough to still to do it because it's a very demanding role, and I said if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I better do it right now because it's an hour and a half of running on, really working hard. It's like a marathon. You play 18 different characters. So, but I said, you know what, I'm going to do it, and it's just, I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy when I do it. I hear it, the way the people react to it, the way fathers and parents say, my son said that movie changed his life. I brought him to see the play, and he feels so good. And I go, you know what, thanks. It makes me feel good, because that's why we're here, to make this life better for the next generation. So I think that's important.
Now, the character who committed the murder and who literally sees you as his son, even though you point out people like that can't trust anyone. They have to always watch their backs. Was he as real as you made him out to be?
Oh, he was real, all right. Yeah, he was a really, look, it's hard to say he was a great guy, but he was also
He was a mob guy.
He was a mob guy, and he could hurt you. So, but look, I never condoned the mob. I always say I never got involved with it. I was always smart enough to just to be on the brim of it, because in the end you only end up, like my father said, in dead or in jail. That's it. That's the only way you end up. But there's something, when you're a young man, you see these guys with the cars and the money and the women.
Right.
It's alluring to
And the
you.
entourage
And the
surrounding
entourage,
them.
and people bow to them. So when you're young, you think, wow, I want that. But my father said, then nothing. Be tough, go to work, feed a family, that's tough, and so my father drilled that into my head. And I'll tell you a really quick story. When I was really broke, when I was young, I used to write on these little index cards, "Dear Dad, could you lend me $20?" and put it underneath this the door, because they lived on top of me where I was living. I had a little apartment underneath them, and I kept writing that underneath. And then many years later, all of a sudden it happened. I got nominated. Well, 30 years later, I got nominated for Academy Award, and I'm waiting to walk down the red carpet. And I told my mom and dad, I said, "Hey, I want you to walk down with me, And they said, all right. So they came in the limo with us, with my wife, Joan.
thrill.
And now all of a sudden, my father turns to me in the limousine, Joan, and he puts his hand in his pocket, and he takes out this envelope with a stack of 75 cards. And I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "You don't remember what that is?" And I'm looking at it, I'm going, $20. I go, "What is that?" That's my handwriting. And he goes, "Don't you remember when you had no money all those years ago? You used to put it under my door." He goes, "Me and your mother saved this because we knew one day this would happen."
What a great story. And a great show. Really a great show. Only going to be here till February. It's at the Walter Kerr Theater, A Bronx Tale. And I loved having you here. I hated when the show was over. In fact, I wanted to be at the stage door like everyone else to say, "Is that part true? Is that part true? What happened?" I wanted like the rest of the story.
Yes. I know.
Was that guy really had a bad end?
Yes, he had a bad end, yes. A
Okay.
very bad end.
I'm not going to ask
yeah,
anymore.
Yeah. He had a
I'll
bad
wait
end.
till I get you alone.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
All
much.
the best to
Thank
you.
Thank you.
All the best to all of you. And I want to thank the Disney Company. Thank you, Disney. I know you're all going to have a ball going to see Little Mermaid. And I want to report, and I want these two young, gorgeous girls sitting next to me to call me on Monday so you can give me the whole story. And thank you, My Mustard, Maille, goes back to Dijon, France, 260 years of being a great product. And I want to thank my friends from Pompeian Olive Oil for hosting us in Spain and also giving wonderful goodies here at Sardi's. Coming up to news and weather, everyone. Don't go away. We've got lots more show. I'm Joan Hamburg.